everyone. Welcome to Wild on Design. I'm Jennifer Convey, the host of this webcast series, where we explore all things interior design and beyond. Today's episode, we are super excited about our next guest. But before I do that, I want to tell you that we are produced and presented by Women in Luxury Design and the Pacific Design Center. We greatly appreciate this, and we are so excited to continue on with this series throughout the year. Alrighty, so today, I want to introduce you to a woman I feel such kismet with that we've actually collaborated and formed an affiliation. She's like a sister from another mother. Please allow me to introduce you to Wendy Cohen, CEO and founder of Powerhouse Advisors, Powerhouse Recruiting, and Powerhouse Smart. The Powerhouse group of companies is dedicated to helping others. The vertically integrated divisions support luxury interior professionals with expert leadership, education, recruitment, business development, and relationship building, passionately serving like-minded, high-integrity people in the design, construction, and real estate industry. Welcome, Wendy.
Wow. Hi, welcome. Thank you, Jennifer, for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. And thank you to the Pacific Design Center for supporting what you do, which is amazing. I watched your webcasts and they're so awesome. We're going to have to really promote those to get a huge worldwide audience there.
Oh, we will on YouTube. We're so grateful to Pacific Design Center for being our amazing partner and distributor, and we will. And I really give credit to where credit is due, which is our fabulous guest. I think we're very, very fortunate to have such a wealth of amazing, inspiring guests and people in our industry like yourself. So, my dear,
yes,
we have so much
thank
to talk
you.
about.
I feel humbled, honestly. I'm just thrilled to be here. And as you had introduced me and said, we're kismet, it is really amazing. You know, I'm a little spiritual, so I believe our souls were meant to be together. And I love what you're doing. And when I first heard about Wild on Design and Wild in itself, what a great name. I thought Powerhouse Smart was great, but Wild Women in Luxury Design is perfect, because it gets you excited and you get excited.
Thank you. And our mission statements are very, very similar. We're all about, we're a business networking group, as is yours. You have a networking component in it, certainly nationally and internationally, which we hope to grow to. But we are all about expanding the circle of opportunities, collaborations, relationships within the luxury design industry. And I'm so glad to have you here, because one of the things we always talk about is empowered women empower women, empowering women, right? And of course, we're men and women. We celebrate the men that stand next to us and support us and write the checks to make it happen, until more female CEOs like yourself can make things happen with us too. So I want to go back to, you had 25 years in luxury residential home building. Not too many women can boast that. You were definitely in a male-driven industry. What was that like?
Yeah, well, what happened was me and my husband decided to build a custom home in Illinois, where I went to college in Michigan, moved to Chicago, which was, the big city.
Chicago.
We decided to
I hear it.
Yes. So we bought a 1 acre parcel and we decided to embark on a custom home. So I come to my world and where I am today, really understanding the client side as well as the builder side. So we built a home. I learned everything about all the builders in the area. And then I said, I'm leaving my career that I went to college for, and I'm going to get into real estate. So I became a real estate broker, only working with custom home builders. And then one of those builders hired me to become his vice president. 18 years, we fast forward, and we went from about a dozen employees to 120 with 7 integrated profit centers. So it was really amazing. I would say the firm became the gold standard for custom building, because as most custom builders, and I'll never take off that custom builder hat, would say that they're typically a little slow on the technology side and slow to move forward in change. So we really did some really exciting things very early on that are still being done today. So I was able to, as a woman, because mostly everybody in the firm that was on the building side were men, and even on the architecture side, we did have a nice percentage of women by the time that 18 years was up and I left, which was in 2006. I would say a good, at least a third, maybe even more than that, were women within the company, but most of them were not. Yeah, isn't that great?
Pretty fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, most of them weren't on the job site, although now and then we'd run into a woman in the carpentry industry or masonry or some of the other industries. So always applauding women who, get out of their comfort zone and don't be afraid to sit with all men who might be above you or at the same level as you or below you. So I think, what you set the standard by coming in and being confident and really saying, what, I have something to bring to the table. I have high integrity. I'm a professional. I'm going to do my job. It doesn't matter that I'm a female. And so that's really how I approached it. And I went to work every day. I did my job and I came home and I was still mom and wife and sister and friend.
A lot of jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs for women.
Yes, exactly. So
I don't know how anyone does it. All of us do it. But yeah.
Yeah. So it was a great,
Wow.
introduction for 18 years. I really consider it a master's degree or even a PhD in custom building. We did a lot of very interesting project work with great clients. I'm referencing one of your past speakers where he said, you intimately get to know your clients when you're an interior designer. Well, as a custom home builder, when you sit down with a blank sheet of paper and design someone's home based on their lifestyle and their family and their, what's important to them, you really do intimately get to know them. So we really,
probably better than their friends and family do, because you know how they live day in, day out. You're creating the space that they're going to do this in. Yeah, it's so intimate. So you did this for 25 years.
Well, I did that for 18 years.
18.
And in 2006, I started the Powerhouse Companies.
Okay.
So in 2006, the Powerhouse Companies were still in the luxury design build industry, but doing different things. One was a consulting division where I worked for builders, architects, interior designers, and landscape architects. And I would meet with the owners of the companies and we'd say, here's your business where you are today. You may not want to get as big as the company I worked for because it was quite large, but here you are. Where do we want to go and how are we going to get there? And so a lot of times it was business strategies, communications, systems and procedures.
So important.
Absolutely. Setting up your operating SOP manuals. And then what would happen was the companies would start to grow, and then I would do all the recruiting and manpower planning and training and orientation, teach them how to do it so I could eventually move on. And many people said, wow, the team that you put together there is why they're so successful. And we've all heard before that you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely true. I 100% believe that. And that is a key topic right now, today in this atmosphere. It's always been key.
Yes.
I always say it takes a village, and gosh, just make sure you have the best in the village, the best people in the village, and you will thrive. Also, the strength of your network is the strength of your business, and so on. We believe in all of those statements and truly try to live by them. So this is what I want to delve into just a little bit. I know we have lots to talk about, but this recruitment, hiring, job search, and recruiting the best of the best, you do this nationally and internationally, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So going back to my roots, I hired everyone within the company when we went from 12 people to 120 because we did it, in a kind of an executive and management group setting. So except for maybe the laborers, which of course I knew all of them by personal name and I did all the presentation and all the training. So I could write a job description on anything. And then we worked with outside interior designers, outside landscape. So I talked to someone in Florida who's looking for a design assistant and somebody in Washington, D.C. who's looking for a senior interior designer and an architect in Seattle. And I understand their world. So it's very, I love it because I can do my job very efficiently. And after spending 10 or 15 minutes with the owners of the company. I learn their culture and their systems and their procedures. I don't need to know what an architect does. I just need to know within their firm, what level are they looking for? Who's going to be working with them? What are they working on? And quickly I can assess who is the best talent. And then I have this database of incredible talent that I've, through my networking organization. And of course, I also go a little broader with, job postings, but a lot of times it's that network that brings those people in. So anytime you're hiring, my tip to anybody who is not hiring a recruiter, because in our industry,
you got it.
Usually the first thing that a small firm considers, although today I'm working for a ton of small firms across the nation and internationally, Canada.
Hard to find great people and qualified people. And if I may just say something, I mean, because of your background and that you're so fluent in every aspect of the luxury home build, business design, all of it, they're really getting an amazing skill set with you because you can assess and you are fluent in that language. I see your postings. I mean, they're amazing, and you're drawing amazing recruitments to you for it. And that's a wealth. And that's one of the things I was so excited because I don't know anyone like you doing this specifically in this arena. You can go to all the big name job search, but they're generalized, right? They're not specifically for this industry. And I was so excited because with a collaboration with you, I get to offer my community this layer of hiring and job posting because I get asked every day, as I'm sure you did before you did this, gee, have you got anybody who's a great, designer, a junior designer? I'm looking for somebody, a major diploma to run my firm. I'm looking for such and such with skill sets in an architectural firm. I get it almost every day, but I have my group, but it's not what I do. It's not 100% of my energy. And you've got a staff and a whole business around it with incredible reach and resources.
Yeah, and I am thrilled to be able to have you as a possible resource because you are one of your titles, besides interior designer and host and director of the this fabulous Women in Luxury Design. You're also a media coach, which all of our interviews, because I have a process, of course, and I'm able to fill those jobs for those owners of companies quickly because of my process. Which is difficult in this time, but it's through Zoom in the beginning.
Everything's Zoom, virtual,
right? So what I'm offering my candidates is for them to hire, a session with you so you can teach them how to be their best self, because a lot of these people are going to have to work with clients. These are not necessarily just the drafting architect or the site superintendent, which always has to work with consumers anyway, right?
Right.
I think it's a great, as you know, you and I love collaboration. That's what this is. You're going to be able to help.
We're gonna partner up and we'll take our skill sets and make them useful to the mission of getting everybody hired and the best people on board. So just to backtrack a little bit, yes, a lot of publicists and people within the design industry, I get called upon to work with them to bring them their best selves, to the presentation, to a meeting, because I feel your audition, if we can call it that, starts from the minute you enter the room or the minute you enter the screen. And a lot of people have this separation of self, meaning that what they bring to a camera isn't the same person that they bring into a room when they're ready to give a presentation. There is something not connecting there, and it's detrimental. I mean, you don't have a second chance to do that. You've got to be able to just bring your best self, whether it's quirky, be quirky, if it's this and that, but your best presentation as if your life depended on it without the pressure. Be super comfortable in you and doing this, because that'll get you to the next step and the next public speaking or the next presentation or the next job. And I'm amazed that even after all this time, where we've all been Zooming and virtual, it's not natural. Let's just say it's just not natural. Nobody wants to do this instead of being in person. It's just an added skill set. And once you know how to do it, it's media training. And once you know how to do it, you just practice. There's no reason not to. We've got our phones.
Right. So if, and again, some of my candidates, have their master's degree in architecture or in interior design, or, if they've flown all over the world to be a project manager of, a Ritz-Carlton's, and they're great people and great talent, but they don't necessarily realize how they're coming across. And a 15-minute training or half an hour training with you, I can help them get to the next level. And yes, of course, I could try to teach that, but I'd rather have like a successful,
It sometimes takes more than 15 minutes, but after 25 years on TV and having to interview somebody who had a great personality on the audition tape for the design shows I did, I call it personality-ectomy. As soon as the lights and camera come, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do with my hands? I said, do you think about that in life? No. Yeah. You don't. It's just this self-consciousness, and think about what you're going to say. You've already got the gig. We want to hear what you're going to do. Excitement and nervousness feel very much the same. Frame it positively into excitement. I get to do this. There's lots of things. It's a mental prep. Anytime you go in and do a presentation, designers know this, architects know this, they're going to hand you the key to the kingdom. It's very personal and very expensive, and it's a big investment. And I always say to people, you could have the best portfolio in the world, and it won't matter if they don't feel they know you, like you, trust you, that you're speaking with integrity, period.
Right.
Period.
So it's going to be
those things.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful additional service that I can offer to my candidates. One of the things I also wanted to tell you was, because I come from the owner side of the design build world, I really understand that it's a very big expense to hire a recruiter. So my recruiting fees are the lowest recruiting fees there are out there, because I know some of my companies, this is their first, new hire that they've ever had. And for some, it's their 100th, but I still offer the same low fees. And I do give a discount to those people that are in my network, my Powerhouse Smart network. So I really, my why, everybody always says, what's your why? And I want to know what your why is next. But my why is, I really love helping people grow. And so if I can help the employer, who's now, all of them should be extremely busy given what's going on in our world, and we're riding a beautiful wave, and now's the time to develop your team and grow. I want to make sure I get them the right people in the right seats, and people that their culture.
I'm going to toss it back to what you just said, because I think it's such a great point. Back to your fees and knowing your value and what you're creating for people. I mean, designers go through this. Everybody in the industry, in probably any creative industry, goes through this. Getting paid for your value is hard to ask for sometimes, and or you get questioned on it. But I will say, and I always say this, we used to do a really funny bit on mistakes are expensive, trust the professionals. And we have a hilarious slideshow of really bad, unbelievable design and architecture mistakes. They're great. And they're all over the internet. You can find them easily. But mistakes are expensive, but so are the wrong hires. In an industry where time is money, what industry isn't? If you have the wrong hire and they're 2 months into it and they've messed up or whatever, and they're just not getting it, what's that worth to you? Saving that time and having to start over and onboarding somebody else that may or may not be right. So I think that honing in and letting somebody else vet is great. And I was happy to do it in my little way of my group. What better way to vet people than within your own network? But your network is specifically geared for recruitment and hiring and opportunity. I think it's very, very kismet. I'm very excited. We'll make an announcement soon about our what that is. Membership, our members, your membership. A deal with that and a deal with recruitment. We'll figure all that out, and it'll all be laid out for our respective members. And we had a whole bunch of in-person events coming up, but due to COVID, fall 2021, things have been rapidly changing, but we can still do virtual events. There might be one or two coming up that slip through there that are outdoor events, but we've got exciting things planned for the future, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And anyone who's listening to this will be able to delve in with more detail, because we're keeping this short and tight so that we can get the most impact. But I do want to say, in case anyone didn't know, when I started the Powerhouse companies, I started Powerhouse Advisors that turned into Powerhouse Recruiting, so consulting and recruiting. But really at the very same time, 15 years ago, I started a group similar to your wonderful group called Powerhouse Smart. And so we did that in the Midwest, and we have a huge constituency for the last 15 years in the Midwest. We used to do about 15 events a year live, and then COVID hit. We went to double virtual. We have a luxury conference every year. We just opened our Italy chapter. We're opening Naples, and
I must go visit that chapter.
Yeah, me too. We'll go Tuscany wine tasting too.
Yeah, I think I need to do that. Yes, don't we all? Yes.
And we're also, I had already done for about a year and a half, a ton of Southern California events, one in Glendale, one in Costa Mesa, several Glendale, Costa Mesa, San Diego, and one in Rancho Mirage. So we're going to be having, we're going to be resuming or refocusing on the Southern California area with an event in October with Design Collaborative. So just like we were talking about our new collaboration where I'm going to wrap my arms around the women in luxury design, and I hope you
We're wrapping our arms around you. We're already with the PDC and SID and a whole bunch of others. So we're really excited. Good.
Yeah, you were right there. Like you had IILC, you had Luxury Marketing Council. So you're just like us. We do the same thing. So I want you to be
room for everybody.
At my luxury conference, you're going to be a speaker. I mean, there's so many great things coming ahead. So hopefully we may have a live event in Newport Beach, which we can invite your members as well as ASID and everyone else.
Absolutely. And PDC, and everybody. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get everyone on board.
We're going to do a ton of stuff.
As long as it's safe to do so, we'll do so, right? Yes, it's such a love fest here.
Exactly. But you know what, Jennifer, I just want to say that you're an inspiration to me. I see that you could be a celebrity doing so many other things, but you really love giving back and you love helping the women in luxury design, and you love connecting great brands to those women. You're, having some, you're just on top of it. And so for me, it's like having a mentor.
Feeling it's mutual.
Yes.
The feeling is mutual. I want to delve in just real quickly. I want to get to my why. I was really honing in on this, knowing we would talk about this. And for years, I was on the road with my design show, HGTV 10 years, A&E 5 years, Discovery International Travel, Relais and Chateau, Relais and Gourmand. I know, rough job. Somebody had to do it. But I was literally on a plane and out of the country or out of my home year round for years. And when I came back and sort of left to hang my own shingle, I realized I felt like a tourist in my own home. And I kept asking my friends, how do you have these resources and know everybody? And it's important to me. And so I kept trying to join groups and do that. And it came out of just a need and a love for it, because it's so much easier. You're so much wealthier for it if you have people in the industry that are friends and collaborators and resourcing and new tools and paints to play with, right? And I was starved for that, and it really just came organically, simply because I was so excited to meet new people. And then I wanted them to meet my other people. It really came organically from, I think, necessity, which is where most creation comes from, right?
Yeah. So I bet you, right, those resources are what you bring to Wild on Design and to the Wild members, and you'll bring them to Powerhouse Smart, and we'll bring you our resources.
Absolutely. And we met through West Edge, Megan Riley.
Exactly. All right. And so what happened is any of your members or my members or someone who isn't a member yet, but just comes to one of our events and gets to know us, will walk in the room and say, I need you for one of my projects. I need to buy you
all the time.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited about our future together. And I'm just so grateful to have met you. You're an inspiration, all that you do. Really, truly, you're a mentor, really, just for all of us.
Yes. And we both grew up. We both grew up in the Southern California. We're Valley girls, right? Are you a Valley girl?
No, I'm not. I'm a beach girl. Hard to believe, but yes. A beach girl. It's all the same. It's all the same now. We're all grown up. We're like little countries here in Southern California. Important mention. You're in Newport. You're in Newport, California.
Yeah, Newport Coast.
Newport Coast.
is stunning. I grew up in Southern California. I went to Birmingham High School. So I grew up in Sherman Oaks and Encino, and
Beautiful.
I went to college in the Midwest and stayed in Chicago and raised my family. So I've got a huge network in the Midwest and East Coast. And then I'm back now. I was in San Diego and Del Mar for a couple of years, and Newport Coast is heaven. The construction and the home
Booming.
going on here are just spectacular.
I
So
know.
have a lot to just here. I can turn around and walk down the street and
I
share
know.
incredible resources.
It's booming. I'm in Beverly Hills. It's just booming. Construction never stopped. And it's exciting to hear that so many colleagues and people have been busy during these times because they're essential. And those permits were pulled and everybody's building and remodeling. And it's a good time. And there is a silver lining in all of this. Yes.
Absolutely. And so I love the education on your Wild on Design. What's the next webcast coming? Do you have
They're coming every month. We could do them every week, quite truthfully. We're doing Timothy Corrigan. We're going to be interviewing, who's a dear friend. I've interviewed him so many times. And the great thing about Timothy is he never does the same interview twice. He has a million things to talk about. I think he has a new chateau. We're going to be talking about that and all his projects and things. And I'm super excited. And we have lots of superstars like yourself and everybody, and just everyone I'm in awe of I get to talk to.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Well, I'm definitely going to be telling all of my members about all of your webs. The ones I've watched so far. It's great. And I love the SIA projects, which is saving
iconic architecture, Jamie and Ron.
Yep.
No, they're amazing. Exactly. We want to spotlight as many of our fabulous people as we possibly can. Thank you so much for today. More to continue. We'll continue on and have another episode for sure.
Yes, I'm really excited about sharing my network with you and meeting your people and just being together. So I look forward to seeing you face to face very soon. We're going to toast a glass of champagne.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.